Hey guys, welcome to another episode of LJ's Garage. Today, we're doing some fall cleaning. We're gonna get this garage looking good and organized and just a whole lot better, hopefully. As most of you have probably seen in the last video, I've moved to Tampa, so one of the challenges is now having to get my garage all set up again. And Fleximounts actually reached out and they said, hey, we actually have a solution that will help you with your garage organization. So we're gonna start there. And they've got this 4x4 system. They even got like a 4x8, 4x12, a couple different systems, and they mount to the ceiling, and then they allow you to raise and lower so you don't have to worry about getting on ladders and dealing with all that to access your stuff. So I haven't figured out what I'm gonna put on there quite yet. I'm thinking that that is gonna be a great solution, and I hate going on ladders. Something else I wanna mention about the system is you can raise and lower it, of course, which means that you can move it to different parts of your garage that really work with your setup. So I'm thinking this spot right here. And the cool thing about this spot is since I have an attic access up here, I can actually make sure that I have my support beams and stuff. So stud finder. Get it? Oh, thought it was kind of funny. It's probably not good to be holding up next to me. It's probably like radioactive. So let me clean the cars out of the garage and get some of these boxes out of the way, and we'll just roll right into it. All right, so got a mess here. Got a mess there. Lots of stuff on that shelf and lots of stuff in those cabinets. I'm gonna figure out exactly what's gonna go where, but I'm thinking again, if you're looking at this, right, you have the drop down come from here, so that way if you're walking right in front of this heater, you can turn and access everything you need to, and then if you drop it down from the side, you could do it from here. And I'm thinking, since I saw these little holes up there, that at some point, someone either had some shelves up there, or maybe they're just random holes. But I'm gonna guess that they were holes from a ceiling mount or something like that too. All right, let me go ahead, and with the power of magic and editing, this stuff is out of the way. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I'm even gonna use this for, because I got lots of stuff right down here. And the weight limit on this is about 300 pounds, so I don't wanna overdo it. So I'm gonna just go through these tools eventually and figure out what I'm gonna put up there. But I'm probably gonna put like 3 or 4 of these bins with like for example, I've got this one and it's just got antlers. It's got antlers, you know? So this is the system. It's the GL1. Like I said earlier, it's the 4x4 system. Weight capacity 300 pounds, and it's good for ceilings that are lower than 9 feet. Pretty sweet. And then I'll put some pictures of it, but that's what it looks like. They said the install is fairly easy, so I'm hoping that that's the case. Got our instructions, which are absolutely important. Can't leave home without those. So look at that, down there is what you're gonna need. Tape measure, stud finder, ladder, safety glasses, pencil, cordless drill, screwdriver, and then this is how everything goes together. And it even comes with this little template that you can use to position everything, so that way it makes lining this up pretty easy. But looks straightforward. Got 4 ceiling brackets. 2 of them have a pulley on them. You gotta have 48 inches across. Got a little crank here. And I think I've seen people attach a drill to that even. So the first step is gonna be just getting our template together. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna actually open this box up a little bit further, and then I'm just gonna get everything positioned. Okay. Looks like the pulleys are attached to this one. Take that out of there. Got this guy. Got our bag of nuts and bolts and screws. Set those to the side. Got one bracket. Bracket number 2. Got our hand crank. Wheel, wheel, helicopter, helicopter. It's got a little wind up, down thing. Turn the handle clockwise, yada, yada, blah, blah. You guys know. This is some metal. And this is more metal. And then we have our brackets with the pulleys. I think these pulleys are pre-lubed. They even threw in some tape for the template. Look at that. It's pretty nice. And here is our template. And then last but certainly not leastly is the actual frame itself. And this is what the 4x4 system actually, this what holds the stuff. Boom. All right, so I've got everything laid out that I need. I've got my drill bits, I've got my measuring tape, I've got my drill itself, a pencil, even though I haven't used a pencil in a while. And then I got a level just in case, because I figure I need one of those, but maybe not. And then my stud finder. I'm supposed to have on safety glasses, pretend I do, and then pretend I have all the other things. Oh, screwdriver, so I need one of those. There's one somewhere in there. Okay, now for real, I've got everything. Screwdriver, drill added too, or impact. So I got a little bit of everything, and obviously the tools are in here, so I've got plenty more than what I need. I forgot to mention that if you don't have a drill and all that stuff, you could actually use this guy with the hex key. So you can see, you can use that little tool to spin these if you didn't have a drill. So it's kind of nice. There's a backup option if you didn't want to use power tools, which I strongly recommend, and impact. It is now time for us to affix the template to the ceiling. This thing is larger than I thought. That's what she said. So yeah, this bracket goes into this one. And then the other bracket, this guy, oops, this guy with this piece goes into this one. So it makes it nice and easy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use the tape they provided. Let's see if it's good tape. I hope so. And I don't think I'm gonna use this tape for anything else, so I'm gonna use a good bit. Make sure this template doesn't move anywhere. I'm just gonna make sure this is where I want this to end up. It's gonna go over right about here, and this will be perfect. That'll be exactly where I want it to end up. Because if you're on this side, you want to be able to still use this little area and still crank this down so you can pull it down and get to stuff here. That works. And then one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find these studs. All right, these are pretty easy to use, but essentially what you're going to do, hold until it turns green. Once it turns green, you start sliding real slow. Better without the popcorn ceiling, but you keep going, you keep going. And you'll see that jump. You see that? I added one more arrow, and you keep going. It's gonna beep right there, edge. So then you're gonna come over to this side, and you're gonna go this way. Bam. And then come in again, and just double check. Come over here. Let's make sure this thing's calibrated. So once you've identified where your joists or your studs are, then you're going to line those up with where your template is going to go, because you want to make sure that your studs end up where the bracket mounts are going to be. So hopefully that makes sense. I ran into a little bit of trouble, which I'm going to explain here in a little bit, with finding my studs, and hopefully you guys don't run into this. All right, so I ran into the problem of all this wood was affecting the stud finder. It was throwing it off pretty bad. I knew I was in the right area, but as you guys can see, this is how much space you have to hit. So there's not a lot of room for error, and I have a fairly budget-friendly stud finder. Something else you can do if you're also doing this project is you see this light. Normally the lights are attached to the studs themselves. So follow that way, and you should pretty much find it. Same with this garage, follow it, find it. General rule if you didn't have an attic or something. But there's a couple different reference points that I've got to use, and hopefully that helps you guys. Off camera, I went ahead and I took this light down because this had shifted too far to the left, and again, I wanted to line up with this post right here. So I took this light out, and I'm gonna flip the light around in a different place, but I'm gonna go ahead and just position this right here. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your brackets, and you're gonna go ahead and line these up in the spots they belong, mark them with a pencil, and then you're gonna pre-drill your holes, and then we're gonna pull the stencil down and get these in place. This is really easy to do. I'm still gonna show you guys, but press these up against the wall, mark them with the pencil. So essentially just looks like that. You're gonna mark the holes. I tried switching to a Sharpie, and the stupid ceiling just kept clogging up my Sharpie, so this is the best I can do, but I'm gonna mark all the holes, keep adjusting the tape, make sure this is as flat against the wall as it can be. The more flat that it is, the less chance of error. So you wanna make sure that it's flat against the wall. There's no gaps like this. You wanna make sure as you're pressing everything in, you wanna push that up against the wall as good as you can get it. So for the next part, what we're gonna do is, now that we have our holes marked, we're gonna go drill a pilot hole. And I'm just gonna use the 1/8 bit, since these are the ones that are going in there. They're pretty beefy. So just wanna use something less than these, but I'm gonna use an 1/8 just to get a pilot hole started. So it says to make them 60 millimeters deep or 2.4 inches. And then you're gonna go ahead and get your bolts, and you're gonna set them up like this with the washer, and then go ahead and get your bracket on. So with that being said, ignore my messy template. Everything is where it's supposed to be. Got all 4 corners lined up, got everything in its place, and just made sure everything is in a stud and good to go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take this down and move on to the next step, which is getting these suspension pieces up. And I'm hoping there's just enough room to avoid any sort of mismatch pieces or misalignment issues. I hope there's enough margin of error with this product to where someone that's doing this for the first time, i.e. me, is able to just kind of make it work and still make it look good. So I'll let you know. So we're gonna go ahead and get the axles themselves in. So we're gonna put the gearbox on this top left side, which is gonna be this pulley closest to me on that left side. And then I'm gonna go ahead and attach everything else. So snap my fingers and this will all be done. It gives you a little bit of more instructions on how to insert everything and make sure that it all slides in. Hole, stretch it, hole, stretch it, all that good stuff. So it'll make sense in a second. So for my visual folks, this is the piece, and this guy extends in and out. And so you're gonna take that and you're gonna line it up inside these, and you're gonna stretch it across and get it in place. Slid this into the left-hand side, and you're gonna wanna keep going until you make sure both of these holes, one here and one here, make sure these are exposed, and this sits all the way flush inside of these little guys. So then for that next part, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and take this, push in the top, tighten this down, and then you're gonna use this tool to tighten from down here, and you can just stick this in there like so, so that way you can twist. And then to hold the top, you're gonna do this. Or if you have the tools for this, use those. But essentially this, and I'll show you up there where this goes. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna slip it through the top, bolt goes in the bottom, and you're gonna just lock this into place and do that on this side with this hole. We're gonna take these bolts from A, and we're gonna go ahead and tighten them into the gearbox ends. It's gonna be right here, and just tighten those up, and then same thing on the other side. This part, we're gonna feed these 2 wires past the long wire rope through the pulley into the fixed bracket. So in there, out there, down there, outside, inside, outside. Over yonder window breaks, or however that Shakespearean thing goes. There we go. Ta-da! And now we're gonna do the other side. The only thing that I saw in here to note is that make sure the black wire is on the outside and the silver wire or gray, whatever, is on the inside. So same thing on this, and then make sure they don't cross coming down. So for the next part, what we're gonna do is get everything set up, which I kind of have it ready to go. And then you take those frames off to the side, and then those are right here. Just gotta figure out the orientation. It's got nice pictures at least. So let me see if I can figure this out. Next step is going to be to take these hooks, and they're gonna come in like this, and they hook down. There's gonna be 1, 2, 3 on this left side, 3 on the right side. Hooks face towards the outer edge. You wanna keep them loose so that you can slide and adjust this as needed. And then we're gonna use this tool from earlier to tighten everything down. These 4 corners on the end all have a little hole, and that's gonna be for attaching your hoist. And so that's it. This next step is done. The last note on this, they have little messages that make it very easy, but you wanna make sure that these 2 stacked guys right here are perpendicular. So this is going that way, this one's going that way. And they put a little reference picture. We're going to attach the grid to the hoist itself, flat washer, and 2 nuts. Interesting. Okay. I usually only like 1 nut, but 2 nut works. Looks pretty easy. Let's do that. And then the last step is just going to be the hand crank, so we'll do that last. If you also wanted to use power tools, this is a 13 millimeter. 13. So remember, as you're pulling these down, make sure they're not tangled up. So you're going to follow them all the way down. We've got to tighten all these down now that we've got this into place. Before I went any further, I just wanted to check some stuff. So it says the wire deck's not level. This is a normal phenomenon. 4 corners may have a height difference of up to 30 millimeters. So 30 millimeters is like an inch. So if I'm looking at this, it's definitely not an inch difference. All right, so I did some troubleshooting, and I realized one of the things I did wrong was this has to be this way, perpendicular with the bar. And then I've got double washers on there. Make sure these are not twisted. And if you do that on each side, it actually helped a ton. And that's why it was a lot more crooked than it was originally supposed to be. So all I did was just take that last little screw, which is in package E, tighten that up. Then it says you're gonna go ahead and use this to pull the safety hook out of there, like so. Okay, and we'll unhook this guy. All right, and then this goes in the crank, which actually, let me go from the other side. This goes in like so. All right, I'm gonna do this toolbox, which I think is like probably 25 pounds or something like that. And then let's put drill, other drill, and let's get to cranking. I should probably do this slower, like that. I noticed something. It's probably not the safest thing, but this silver cable looped over this. So I'm gonna have to figure out why that looped over. But other than that, it's doing a good job. All right, so I went ahead and I took off that handle. It's actually about the size, I wanna say it's like a 8 or 10 millimeter. It says it's an 11/32. You're gonna remember, whenever you're not using it, just lock this in place. Look at that. Dang, just like that. But I just realized I need these tools. Luckily, I don't really have a need for putting like 300 pounds of stuff up here. So probably we need to do like 120, 130, maybe 150. Just some of the tools and stuff, like what I use for like detailing and everything. And then some random other tools and stuff. Remember, always safety lock. There you go. And done. I trust it enough to stand under it. It says whenever you're done with this, you're supposed to just put it up here on the, like with the black line. But I mean, I'm not really gonna leave it here. I think it's fine to just throw it under here. And there you guys have it. It's up there looking good. And honestly, with the weight on it, you can see it's not more than an inch off. So by the power of magic, I've done it. Look at it, look at it, look at it. I got all my tools up in there. Whew, hope this holds. But the amount of bolts that are in there, that should be good. As long as my joists or my studs and stuff are good, that should be plenty. I'll fix this and balance this out a little bit, but right now I just need to get some stuff out of the way. And then I'm gonna clean this up and I'll show you guys what it looks like now that I have more space and stuff for things. I've consolidated some of these bins, but I'm gonna go through them tomorrow and hopefully get this all organized and clean so you guys have a nice transformation. And hopefully this video is done and uploaded in time for Black Friday. These guys are having a Black Friday deal, so make sure to check out Fleximount on Amazon or their website, or be sure to use the link in the description. So all in all, this took me about 4 hours worth of time. And the hardest part was really just finding these joists or studs. If you have no problem with those, it should take you about half that time. A lot of that was my fault. Oh, I want to show you guys something cool. So half the reason I couldn't find what I was looking for is because these were in the attic. So everything is good and done. I did have to remove this light and I flipped it that direction. So if you guys notice, I did do that. But overall, everything looks good. Look at that, nice and level. And, ooh, sorry, tripped. There's plenty of space, so now I can keep my mower there. And then eventually I've got to go through all my tools and organize that a lot more. But I'm gonna be doing some more garage projects and fall cleaning. This is the only rest of stuff that I have to find a home for. Most of these are gonna go inside of like a toolbox. So if you know any companies or recommend anything, or if you're any companies that wanna send a toolbox, let LJ know. But this is what's gonna happen with that area. So toolbox there, keep the shelf, get some of this stuff out once I organize. And then of course I've got this cabinet spaces I'm not really doing anything with there. But being able to have this is huge because now I've got everything up there. And right now I've probably got about 200 something pounds. But of course, Fleximount says that you could do up to 300 pounds. You've got 3 bolts here, 3 bolts there, 4 there, and 4 in the back. That's plenty. So I do trust that this will hold 300. And just importantly, remember to lock the safety lock when you're not using it. But man, did that free up a lot of space. So I'm gonna get the car in here and take a look at everything all said and done. But be sure to check these guys out. Amazon, real easy. Hopefully you guys get two-day delivery before the holidays. But I really like this. This is the step in the right direction to get this garage looking good for all the projects that I've got planned. And as you can see, it freed up so much space. So now I can actually like get this thing tucked away in the corner nicely, walk around it, get things out of the way. So it's a pretty nice and functional, I don't know, just a functional way to get things off the ground and up in the air and make use of this space. So of course there's a lot of different options that you can use for different garage shelving and stuff like that. But I kind of like it, the engineering background side of me that loves this whole contraption is in love with this. It's kind of cool too, instead of like the boring stationary shelves, I like this little contraption that they've got here. So raise it, lower it, easy. But yeah, the only thing else I've got is I gotta find a new home for this mower, but I don't have a shed or anything like that. So technically, I could put this on there because it's under 300 pounds, and that would be kind of cool. But for now, getting the tools and some of these extra things that I don't really need, like all my plumbing equipment, out of the way is a huge, 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 huge win. So yeah, I don't know. That's all I could say on the Fleximounts. Easy install, assuming you have a stud finder and a proper drill. You don't need the drill, you don't need power tools, but strongly recommend. And yeah, I mean, they got great reviews and I see why. I'm just excited to be able to have an organized, neat, cleaner garage and make more videos for you guys. So anything that makes life easier for me is a win. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Peace.